Hi, and welcome to This Made My Week, a positive news show where you and your nervous system get to rest while I tell you all about the positive things that are happening around the world. Today, I have really inspiring stories about a teacher who dances on TikTok and is changing students' life. I'm going to tell you about magic that's happening behind prison bars in the largest women's prison in the world. I'm going to share something that I did this week that is saving someone's life and that you can do too. I've got more stories prepared, so let's get into it. Start with a teacher who dances on TikTok, but let's start from the very beginning. So, America, a country that I love, by the way. And also, that is such a wonderful example that two complete polar opposites can exist at the same time. So on one hand, this country is so weird, outrageous, there's so much nonsense and just ridiculous stuff, harmful stuff that is happening. It's crazy. And on the other hand, there's so much compassion, kindness, goodness, creativity, inspiration that is born in that place. And this story for me is about that, about those polar opposites. So, did you know that in America, only in 9 states, there's a legislation that says that all kids get free meals at school. So the states cover expenses. But there's an estimate number of 30.4 million people, or students I should say, who cannot afford those meals. So schools, instead of allowing those kids to go hungry, they still feed them. Beautiful, right? No, not so fast. However, those students over the years, they accumulate debt. So by the time they finish in school, there are thousands of dollars in debt because they could not afford the food. And they cannot graduate and receive high school diploma until they pay off that debt. And this is where angels like Katie Jo Christensen come in. Katie is a special education teacher in Utah, and she's better known on TikTok by her handle Mrs. Cactus Vibes. And by the time she finished her high school, she was $4,000 in debt. She got on TikTok, she started dancing, making videos, and eventually she got into Creators Fund. So what that means is that people need to watch her videos for 60 seconds or longer, and then she gets paid by the app. So she managed to gather all of this money to pay off her debts. And then she started thinking, okay, if I can do that for myself, maybe I can do that for my students. So she started dancing and making more money. So that happened as well. And then the debt was paid and she started to continue. So now she collaborates with schools in her state, and thus far she paid off 4 schools of students' debt. Like, this is not a small amount of money that we're talking about. These are thousands, 10,000s of dollars. Can you imagine? And this is the weird thing. So the system is broken and then people come and fix the issues that are caused by the system. But for some reason, good people cannot get into the right places to make sure that the system is not broken in the first place. This is why major shift needs to happen, not only just in Utah, not only just in America, but worldwide, because I think we can all see this trend of, rich people getting richer and more men getting into more powerful positions and smaller groups of people gathering all the wealth and all the money while the rest of us just suffer and barely get by. And this is why I feel so inspired by people like Katie who find ways to use all these giant corporations, these giant companies, and use it for good. And it's wonderful that Katie is doing this, and I want more people to follow her lead, follow her example, but at the same time, she deserves this recognition as well. She deserves all the benefits. She deserves that money as well, not all of the money, of course, but a portion of that money. And I just want to make sure that it's not only that women can keep showing up and fixing the things that were broken mostly by men, but that we all thrive, that we're no longer just in the fixing mode, but that we are in the building and creating mode. However, I think this story is something that we all should celebrate. Also, go on TikTok, not only follow her, but watch her videos on repeat and scroll her feed non-stop somewhere in the background while we do other things. We do our nails, we write some emails, right? And just keep playing Katie's videos, because just by doing that, just by sitting on the app, you can be literally changing someone's life. Something that you can do to save someone's life is to go and donate blood. That's something that I did this week as well, and it totally made my week. And I understand that there are special circumstances and not everybody can do that. I'm kind of ashamed to say that the last time that I donated blood was back in 2011. There were various reasons for it. I lived abroad, I either had piercings, I was on medication for my thyroid, or I was pregnant or breastfeeding. So I understand that, you know, it's not that simple or easy, but if you have the privilege of good health, please go and donate blood. Those blood centers or hospitals, they're always in need blood. So this is such a simple and easy thing to do. Like for me, I was in and out in half an hour. I chose to do it at the end of the day in case I feel a little bit weaker or dizzier, so you know, it did not bother me at all. I felt great. In return, I got some black chocolate, I got tickets to the movies, I laid down in a comfy chair, I watched some TV, like relaxing TV, the train ride or something. Like it was just rest. It was just rest for me. I had a lovely conversation with the nurse who was doing the procedure. It doesn't hurt anybody. It won't hurt you if you've never done this before. Like, it's completely safe. Women can donate blood for up to 4 times per year. So go and do it. Speaking about health, this week I listened to a podcast that, I don't want to sound dramatic, but it fundamentally changed how I view my body, my health, my nutrition, my fitness. So the guest speaker on the podcast was Dr. Sims. She is, hold on, let me get this right, exercise physiologist and nutrition scientist. She has PhDs, a bunch of diplomas. She worked at a bunch of universities, contributed to so many researchers, including Stanford. She has written her own book. She's an athlete herself. She's been in the industry for years. Right now, she started her own YouTube channel as well. She's on all social media platforms, and she is this genius that she's creating this revolution. Her thing is she studies women's health specifically. And when I started to listen to her, I felt my body just shift just listening to her, and something changed in me because she said a few phrases that just clicked, and those phrases are a little bit clickbaity. She says that women aren't little men, and that the industry thinks, when they think about women's health, they think about shrink and pink. So everything's smaller and in pink color. And she debacles so many myths about women's health, because everything that we hear, all of the research that has been done is based on men and their bodies and their health. And it's not right for women's bodies. So right now, I'm already adjusting my diet and my exercise routine, because everything that she says, like I don't want to follow her blindly, but I am listening to her advice, and I'm just noticing how my body is feeling, because I've been doing the intermittent fasting, so I did not eat breakfast until midday or 1 o'clock in the afternoon for years. And I don't know if that's helpful. It wasn't because of like weight reasons or anything like that, but I just kind of felt good. I got used to it. I just sipped my coffee, and now I shifted to drinking protein coffee in the morning, and I don't know, I'm kind of digging it. What I noticed that I feel better when I'm working out. I have more energy. From now on, because of Dr. Sims, I'm gonna be so careful about the advice that I follow and about the information that I consume, and I take, you know, it seriously, because yeah, man, this patriarchy is everywhere. So again, I'm just so thankful for women like Dr. Sims, who is not gatekeeping, who is not, you know, making us pay for her knowledge. Instead, she wants this knowledge to go as far as wide as she possibly make it go so everybody knows this information and more women take their health seriously and they do everything that they can to protect from themselves from dementia, from weak bones, from anything that happens when we're old. So again, if you're into this, if you care about your health, I could not recommend Dr. Sims more. Go and check her out. She's on every famous podcast right now. She has, of course, her own YouTube channel. I'm gonna tag everything below. You can give her a follow. And I'm so grateful that I discovered her this week. It totally made my week, and I'm gonna give you updates and I'll let you know how I feel in a few months. So following this accidental theme of celebrating incredible women doing incredible things, I want to tell you about the paper trail. So in California, there's the largest women's prison, not only in the state, in the country, but in the whole world. There are about 2,000 inmates. And what they did, they started their own newspaper called The Paper Trail, and it's written, edited by incarcerated women, transgender, and non-binary people. Its mission is to build community, spread love, and amplify voices that are so often not heard. Because yeah, let's be honest, when we think about prisons, we don't really think about people who are behind the bars. We think about statistics, we think about something scary. Very often we think about movies, something that we see on the screen and something that's very, very distant. But in this paper, you can read about what's happening in the community, about events, about pickleball games that are happening over there, but also you can read personal stories about women and their menopause in the prison, or what's it like to become a mother while being incarcerated. The current editor-in-chief of the paper, Amber Bray, says that she wants the people on the outside to see incarcerated people as people who are capable of growth, change, and that they're worthy of second chances. This idea was started by Jesse Vasquez, who was once an inmate himself. And once he completed his sentence, he came up with this idea and he wanted to give a tool for people so that they could tell their own stories in their own voice, in their own words. So he started this nonprofit organization called the Poland Initiative. So fascinated by this story and this initiative, and I really believe in the power, transformative power of this paper. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you're curious and if you want to read it yourself, you can. This paper is available for the public. It's online, so I'm gonna leave all the links in the description box. Go ahead, read stories about women written by women. The last piece of good news comes from my viewer, actually, which makes it even more special. She left this comment under my last week's video. By the way, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's good, it's uplifting, like all other episodes. But anyway, so I looked into the story and sure enough, it is real. So there was this girl in Japan named Kana Harada, and she lived in this area next to this train station. I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce these names because I'm not gonna embarrass myself. I've done it way too many times in the past, so. In 2012, the railway company decided to shut this line, but when they learned that Kana still needs to get to the school, they decided to keep it open, and they kept it open for 4 years. The journey to get to the school took about an hour, so it's a long way for her to go. So she was the only one person in the station for 4 years. And when she graduated in 2016 on March 25th, that's when they shut the line. This story just goes to show that there are no limits for people kindness, compassion. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if I learned anything from creating these videos of good, positive news for more than a year, is that there are way more good people than there are bad. That's a fact. Like, to me, it's clear as day. And if you are watching this information, this video, all the way till the very end, I know that you are one of those people. So thank you. If you have a story, if you know something positive that is happening, whether that's in your life, whether you heard something, please send me an email. I'd love to share your news and just spread it, continue creating this rippling effect of goodness, positivity, inspiration, kindness. So go ahead, make your own week, make someone's week. Come back next week for more uplifting information. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week. Bye.